Get rid of the I'm okay mentality. It's not going to happen to me, because you never know. Some of my earliest memories of Joel would be when they were born. Joel and Kate obviously were twins.
Both born on the 28th of 10th, 1994. Was the most amazing thing. It was just beautiful, and I thought, wow, I've got 2 girls, a boy, that's it, I'm happy, life's perfect.
Joel's personality was unique. Even when he was a baby, he had this mischievous, infectious smile. He just had that magnetic personality. He drew people to him.
He just brought this happiness. It was like he just had this light of like this aura around him that just brought so much happiness to whatever situation.
Growing up, we're always close. Being a twin, you just feel like you have a special bond. We're twins at the end of the day. He's a part of me.
He really did just light up. Any room that he walked into caught everyone's attention in the most beautiful way.
He always had a lot of friends. When he was little and when he was older, always had lots and lots of people around him.
He was a capable student, but yeah, it was more the social occasion for Joel.
Very protective of both his sisters. He worked with me for a few years when I owned a restaurant.
I'm being a little bit biased, but he was not a bad cook. But then again, Joel being Joel and being the social butterfly he was, working weekends and weeknights wasn't for him.
So then that's when he decided he was going to get out and start his roofing business.
Some of his mates were roofers. So for him, working outside, working with his hands, working with his mates was a dream job for him. So the day of the incident, I remember Jolie come bounding down the stairs, coughing and spluttering, because he was crook, he wasn't well. I wanted to yell out to him that if you're crook, stay home. That's a decision that still haunts me. Why didn't I yell out?
I got a phone call from one of Joel's friends, and he was in the car with another friend of his, and they said, Demi, in a really concerned voice, something's happened to Joel, like you need to call Leah. And they said, Joel didn't have an emergency contact to call. You're the only person that we knew to speak to, like you have to call Joel's parents. He's had an accident at work. We don't know what, but you guys need to come.
I got a phone call from Joel's girlfriend, Demi, and she was crying, and I said, what's going on? I said, give me Joel's boss's number. I rang him straight away. I said, I'm Joel's mum. Can you please tell me what's going on? And he said, can you please just come to the work site?
I was doing the course in Newtown, and Jolie's uncle rang me. It was about 1:15, 1:30. And he said, Dave, Joel's had an accident and it's not good.
Where the work site was maybe 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive from here.
And the cab ride from Newtown to Moorebank was probably the longest trip I've ever been on. I remember sitting in the cab crying. The cab driver thought I was a lunatic, but I sort of explained to him what happened. I remember trying to call people. I couldn't get through. Eventually got to the work site, and it was just chaos. Media, ambulance, police, fire brigade, the energy company.
I parked the car and I got out of the car, and a police officer came up to me. He said, who are you? And my Uncle John screamed from the other side of the road, that's his sister. The police officer said, your brother is still on the roof. He's been hit with a mains. And I said, mains, what does that mean? Is he here? Is he not here? What does that mean?
Afternoon traffic from French's Forest to Moorebank, it's quite a trek. And I remember calling my dad and saying to my dad, what does it mean to be electrocuted? Does that mean you die? My dad was like, it doesn't mean death, it doesn't mean death. And I was like, are you sure, are you sure? So I just was really holding on to the hope that he would still be there when I got there.
I remember walking down the street and Jolie's car was parked on the other side of the road, and I seen Leah, my wife.
And I just remember screaming, "What do you mean? Where is he? I want to see him." They wouldn't. I can't even remember. I just can't remember. It was just so surreal.
And all she could say was, "Dave, he's gone." She's screaming, yelling. At this stage, everything was just buzzing. It was just a haze.
I was actually sick with the flu, so I was asleep and I woke up to a missed call, messages from my mum, Demi, and I remember waking up and calling Demi back, and she said to me, "Joel's had an accident." And straight away, I don't know what it was, but I knew. I just dropped to the floor and started screaming.
We kept on begging him, "Please, can we see our son? Please, can we see our son?"
Until the moment they brought him down and in that bag, and they unzipped him, and there he was, just lying there.
Joel is lying in this bag on the floor, on the ground. They said, "Sorry, but you can't touch him." All we could do was just look at him. And they said, "Is this Joel?" And we had to say yes. They said, "Thank you." They zipped him up and they told us to leave. And that was it. The boys were there to install barge caps and replace asbestos roofing. So they'd been there for 4 days, right? So the job was just about complete. They then asked one of the supervisors to say, "You know what, it's finished for the day. Is there anything we can do to help speed up the pulling down of the job?" And they started to pull down the edge protection. So there was edge protection across 3 sides of the building. But where the high tension wires were, there was no edge protection. So Jolie grabbed the top rail and he started to pull it across. And one of the guys said, "Pull it the other way." And Jolie said, "No, look, I've got this." And as he started to pull it across, and this is aluminium, right? So aluminium, dragging it towards high tension wires that should have been isolated but weren't, and got to a point where it arced. So it probably jumped about 3 foot. And as a consequence, Jolie was electrocuted by 11,000 volts.
It affected everything, every day of life. His room upstairs is exactly like it was, because I think that one day he's still going to walk through that door.
There was no proper identification of risk. I think that, and this is again my personal opinion, is that in order to save money, they left those high tension wires live and they took the chance that nothing would happen. And unfortunately, my son lost his life. Having photos of Jolie around help, seeing Leah's watch with a photo of it, with a photo of Jolie on the watch, and it's got, "Please, can you come home now?" When you see that and you know that can't happen, I can't explain it. I don't think anybody who hasn't been in that situation really knows. People say, "How are you?" and you say, "Okay." They don't really know what okay means, Families and Injured Workers Support and Advisory Group is a group of volunteers who have unfortunately experienced either a severe workplace incident, injury, or in our case, my case, have had someone that has been killed in the workplace. And what we are about is to try to advise on probable policy changes, things that can change in the workplace to ensure that these things don't happen again. If we can ensure that there are support mechanisms out there, not only for families, but for the actual people who are also involved in the situation. Now, there were boys on that roof that witnessed what happened to Joel, and that would be burned on in their memory. You know, they may be able to push it down now, but who knows what the triggers are that could end up forcing them into a mental breakdown. You don't know. So you need to have those support services there for the families and for the workers too. So that's why I joined.
The last couple months that he's joined, he's a different person. I don't know why this makes me upset to say, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit my old dad back. I really do. I feel like Joel would just be so proud.
It's given him the opportunity to honour my brother, and it's obviously helped my dad because he's got those people that he can talk to. It has changed him a lot as well. I feel like he's more open to talk about what's happened to us and what happened to Joel.
You know, if I can save another family from going through what we do, it'll all be worthwhile. Don't think it can't happen to you, because unfortunately it could. And look, it's cliche, but don't take unnecessary risks. Speak up. If you are unsure, don't do it. You know, speak up. Unfortunately, you know, it may mean that, you know, you're seen to be a bit of a troublemaker or a rebel on a work site, but you're better off being able to walk out that factory door or go home at the end of the day than end up in a situation like us.
Since Joel's passing, I used to always put up a Christmas tree, decorate. Now I haven't, but now we're having another baby coming into the family, and I thought Joel would be happy for us to start celebrating Christmas.
It's obviously been a tough few years for us, but yeah, this has kind of given everyone a little bit of excitement, something to look forward to. Happiness, I guess, is just how to explain what this new baby's going to bring.
Things aren't the same without him. Life will never be the same, but we always sit around and we always talk about him.